Peacework Guidebook Unpacked, Episode 7. Understanding the context. Before undertaking any activity, it is crucial to understand what is going on in a given community. Conflict sensibility and awareness of what nurtures peace or, on the drives violence, is essential for any community activity. Even more so if that community or geographical area has already been affected by a conflict. An analysis of the factors that affect the way the conflict is handled is a must if an effective and purposeful activity is to be implemented. Such an activity avoids doing harm, contributes to the de-escalation of the conflict or violence, and empowers people to engage in non-violent activities in all fields of life. Some context-related questions to consider are: who is involved? Are they individuals on various levels, community groups, entire communities, states, or international actors? In what way or role? Are their behavior, attitudes, and values supporting conflict and violence or contributing to peace? Whom do they influence, and how do they influence? What are the issues disputed over? Who do they concern and affect, and in what way? What might happen if they are left unaddressed? What are the relations among the actors like? Are relations between the actors involved in or affected by the conflict friendly, non-existent, or hostile? What are the issues, interests, and experiences dividing and connecting various actors? What do we know about people's behavior and attitudes? How violent are the hostilities, and in which ways may the situation turn? What are the common issues or interests that may motivate them to disengage from the conflict and engage in non-violent ways of communication or cooperation? What needs to be done for their attitudes and behavior to shift focus towards non-violent communication and cooperation? Has the situation changed as related to the time before the conflict? What and who has changed? Which direction is the community dynamic going if the current situation remains unaddressed in a way that would induce and/or support constructive social dynamics? What do we know about the values people in the community have? How traditional or contemporary are they? Are there any similarities in the values, beliefs, or traditions of various community groups? How do these values translate into the everyday life of its people and various groups? Which of these values may be used to support non-violence, communication, and cooperation? Are there any examples from the past or some other similar communities, those relying on the community heritage, to illustrate it? Who are the people who have decision-making power, and how are they using it? How does the conflict context affect or work for them? What interest would they have to support disengagement from conflict? What needs to be done for them to start using more of their power to support non-violence and positive community dynamics? Apart from these, further questions may be required. Finding out more about what is going on in a conflict situation helps identify areas and issues anyone who would like to do a project in such a context needs to know more about. Learning more about the context will also make it easier to understand what might be the best way to influence the situation constructively. For a successful conflict or context analysis, it is important to be as detailed in describing and discussing conflict-related factors as possible. The key is to try to examine and understand the situation in the field and the community realities from the different perspectives of all sides affected by it, not only as related to those directly involved in the conflict. The persons doing a conflict and context analysis do not need to be detached, objective, or neutral, but rather well-informed and familiar with the situation. This implies paying attention to details and finding ways to discuss and prioritize the significance and effects of various realities perceived according to their actual and potential influence on conflict de-escalation. Once project implementation has started, it becomes a part of the social context. This means that it will interact with and influence any actual or potential conflicts in a given context. Planning an activity or intervention, we must pay attention that it does not exacerbate the conflict, but contribute to its non-violent de-escalation and peace. This is why it is crucial to know how to apply conflict analysis tools suitable for analyzing specific situations in a given context, and context analysis tools suitable both for analyzing the bigger picture and planning strategies, monitoring and assessment of activities. We will explore more about context analysis tools in the following episodes. Thank you for watching.